have a lot of memories of the White House. Remember the root beer that Mother used to make?
Oh, yeah.
Great. She'd make a big batch of it. Everybody in the neighborhood would have some.
Yeah, you'd have to let it, it had to sit for a while until it
was fizzy. It was good.
It got fizzy, yeah.
And what was the name of the family that lived across the street? The big family, and I can remember they didn't have a telephone, and
Rolls.
the rolls, and so they'd call our house, and I'd have to run over to their house with a message, and the one that worked at Woolworths would bring me a great big sucker as a kind of a treat. That's funny.
I remember all their names over there.
In the grocery store, remember at the grocery store there, they had ice cream cones with a candy cherry on top?
Most.
And they had those licorice strips that you could punch pictures out from, and it had the little pink dots that you could take.
I remember those long strips.
That was a great... Yeah. We had church in that house. I remember sitting in between Dad's knees and singing, and I will eat but a very little meat. Yeah. And that's when I first remember the missionaries. Newell Tingey, I still remember Newell Tingey, and what was the other one?
David Smith.
David Smith, those first two missionaries.
Wow,
Ray
you actually remember them.
Yeah.
Ray Smith and Newell Tingey.
There was one of them that used to take me on his lap, and he gave me a kiss to give to his mother. And when we went down to Utah, we actually visited her, and I wouldn't give her the kiss. I remember that.
I remember as we left, would leave the church on Christmas, all the dignitaries, there was Mr. Dunkerley, who was the superintendent, and Royal Gibson, who was the minister, and who the other men were, I don't know. There was about 3 others. And they'd have this big sack of stuff, and they'd give us each a bag of candy.
And tell about the Christmas program when you were supposed to be helping Marilyn with her Christmas party.
We had done this little Christmas program first, and Mom asked me to help Marilyn learn her part, which was Christmas comes but once a year, but when it comes, it brings.
You still remember it?
I couldn't remember my part. So I gave her part. The lady had to help her.
And she still remembers when she gave Marilyn's part, the look on Marilyn's face.
Oh,
that was funny.
We're gonna have a jiggly.
Yeah, we would go to Christmas Eve. They would have church at the Congregational Church, and then we would walk home for Christmas. And we didn't get a car for what? I think until it was it David that was 10 years old when he got a car? We walked everywhere.
It was a third-hand car.
Third-hand car.
What was the kind of car that you first
remember
Nash. Getting? Oh, okay.
Green Nash. I got pictures of it. I remember David driving, and I was in the front seat, and I can still see this so well. We were in this big backyard of this house. I don't know why we were driving back there, but there was a clothesline that he was going to try and drive under, and he drove under it, and as he went under it, he ducked his head in the car. And I remember, why is he doing that? You know, I can still remember sitting there watching him duck his head as he went under.
Just a habit.
Oh, another memory I have of that White House. Remember, we all had measles together, and somebody spilled lemonade in the bed. Hot lemonade in the bed, and
I spilled it, you mean?
Yeah, hot lemonade, and Mother had to get us all out of bed while she changed the sheets. And then when we had this wonderful doctor, Dr. Danskin, he actually made house calls. He'd come to the house, And I can remember he was coming to check on our measles, and I was outside up in the front tree, and we weren't supposed to be outside. And I can remember watching Dr. Danskin go into the house, and Dick was standing by their tree just waiting for me. And as soon as he got in the house, Dick lifted me down, and I ran around to the backyard and came in through the back door so he wouldn't know that I'd been outside. I could have only been 5 or...
In those days, they put a sign on the front of your house with the word measles.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, so that house was contagious.
I had a lot of good memories about that house. No matter how little you were, there was always a job for you to do at the store. I can remember fringing scarves and making the price tags and sticking them on the socks when I was just a little girl.
Yeah.
And at Christmas time, after Christmas time, we always had to work at the store and do inventory. Remember that? Every year we'd have to count everything in the store, and that was our family.
Our whole
that
New
did it.
Year's was taken up doing that.
Yeah, we all worked at the store. That was just the way it was. And I would do anything not to have to work out in front in the sales. Jeanne was always a sales girl, but I would work in the back or anything not to have to work out in front. And I started working in the office and helping the office girl. And we had those, remember those cash boxes that they would sail back and forth from the clerk to
Sometimes the cup would fall.
and it all over the floor.
Yeah, I remember that. You didn't screw it in or just right.
What was it?
It was the change. They'd pull the string and it'd go up to the girl it was up on.
You'd put the money and the sales slip in the box
She'd
and
make
send
the
it up,
change and
send it back.
We had a.
So they made the change and then it come back?
Yeah, they'd make the change and send it back and give it to the
Pull that
customer. So there was a
Sounds
box
like a
that went to
bank
the
thing.
men's department and a box that would go to the women's department. It seemed like there was
It was
3.
like a little metal cup that would twist on. If you didn't get it twisted on just right, it'd fly all over the floor. I didn't think we had that very long, not more than a year anyway.
I don't remember, but I just remember doing it.
Then they went back to cash registers right there on the counter.
Oh.
My dad was, as a child, he was left-handed, and they had insisted that he write right-handed, and so that is why his handwriting is so hard to read. And he had left-handed golf clubs, though.
Yeah, I remember those.
And the first time I went golfing, I used his golf clubs. And I went all around with left-handed golf clubs. I can remember. Berta May and I did that. Yeah. But I used to like to clean up Dad's office, and he liked it when I would clean up the office. And so I was working in the office, and then I went to college. And when I came back at Christmas time, his office was such a mess, and he lost his office girl. I don't remember why, but I stayed home that quarter. He was so happy when I can remember. He said, "I'm so glad." I cleaned up his whole office, and I stayed home from college for 1 quarter and trained my friend Lorraine Whitmer, who was going to be getting married, and she took over the office. And
the office boy he had he really did a favor for him. He was the only child, but he was embezzling. And a woman who was a widow lady, he also favored her to give her a job, and she was taking clothes home for her only daughter. We would let people do that. They'd take them home on approval and then bring them back, but she'd never bring them back.
But he never had him prosecuted, did he?
He never had him prosecuted, but he did fire him. And he felt
He had a soft heart then.
he really had a soft heart, and he really liked to help people. And sometimes they just didn't,
And
Just
I
didn't
remember
do
when
right.
people were driving through that were Mormons, and they would try and find out who was the church there, and they would come to the. I can remember being out in front of the store and Dad talking to them in the car, and they needed whatever they needed.
Help.
He helped them get it.
Yeah, some people went all over the country that way.
You know, I don't know what we were until
Well, it was the Depression time.
yeah,
So
it was. But yeah, we all worked in the store. We all.
I loved working in the store.
Huh.
It was so fun when those long flat boxes would come in. We knew what was in them.
What?
Dresses.
That's what I thought.
Now David tells about he would
And Dad would
take
say,
the boxes and sell them to the bakery and places that needed them for deliveries.
"Oh, maybe so."
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that
He was
either.
telling me that. Yeah.
I didn't realize that, but I know Dad would say, "Now leave something for the customers," because we don't want to try on the dresses.
Oh, we'd have a wonderful time. We'd go down to the store at night,
yeah.
and after Mary was there, oh my gosh. Yeah, and you know, I read when Berta May wrote her with her life story and sent it to me, she wrote about this friend of hers who had all these beautiful store clothes, and she couldn't afford them, and her mother was a seamstress, and she would make her clothes, but
And they were gorgeous.
they were. I was jealous of her.
Yeah.
She could have all these homemade
They
clothes.
they were really
And she
something.
was jealous of me with all of my store-bought clothes. But yeah, we got the cream of the. I think he put us on a budget when I was telling Maria this. I think we were put on a budget when I was in high school,
So it's 11:30.
like $300 a year. And Maria said, $300 a year? That's a lot. It might not have been that much. I don't know.
I don't remember that, but
Anyway,
we paid for our own clothes.
Did you? Just by working there?
Yeah. We
We
got
all
it. We got a discount. The customer or the employee discount.
yeah, I got a nice discount. David and Jeanne were the first ones baptized when the missionaries came, and you were baptized at the same time, so you were actually probably older.
I know. I was 8. David was 10.
Oh, okay, David was older.
And
Yeah.
I remember
I got a
that.
picture.
It was kind of wet walking down there, and I remember the weeds were tall as I was. We walked through them, and then Dad went back to the store and came back with some little rubber shoes.
Mm.
Then they used to have them, the swimming shoes you could get,
Yeah.
and brought those so I could wear them in the river.
Well, I don't remember rubber shoes, but I was baptized in a swimming hole, and there was another lady baptized at the same time. It might have
Swimming pool,
been.
wasn't it?
No, it was out in a swimming hole. It was a Sister Hoff that was baptized on the same day. Some lady was baptized the same day I was, and it was in May, even though my birthday was in January. And I can picture it so well. They had asked the swimmers to get out while they did this ceremony and to be as quiet as they could. And I can remember seeing the kids sitting up there kind of on the ledge. It was like a little dirt ledge up there. And I had a white dress, big white cotton dress that my mother had for me. And I remember walking out, I don't remember any shoes, but walking out into the mud hole, and Dad and one of the missionaries baptizing me, and I can remember running back up to my mother. It's just as clear as if I can see it.
So it wasn't the river.
It wasn't the river. It was a mud hole. You know, they used to have these cow water holes a lot of places, and it was like one of those. But it was big enough for the kids to swim in.
For heaven's
I don't know
sake.
where it was, out in the country. It seemed like it was out towards not the Dickinson direction, but the Sydney. I don't know where it was. I just remember it very well.
No, I probably wasn't there, but I remember going into the swimming pool. No, into the river. David and I were both baptized.
I
in
wonder where
the
Marilyn was baptized.
Yellowstone River. Well, I think she was baptized in the swimming pool. They got permission to
Gee,
hold it before
don't
it
remember that.
opened.
Oh, I don't
So it
remember
would be early in the morning.
Hmm.
Early, very early.